Mr. K here with section 21 of the Precalculus summer homework. So we're doing special triangles and solving and using simplest radical form when we solve. So there's two major special triangles that we have. We have a 45, 45, 90 triangle. And in the 45, 45, 90 triangle, the shorter sides or the legs are called x, or are typically a length of x, and then to find the hypotenuse it's just going to be x times the square root of 2. So however long that shorter side is, you multiply by the square root of 2. And conversely, if you want to go from the hypotenuse to one of the shorter legs, all you're going to do is divide by the square root of 2. So that's what we have for the first couple problems here. So looking at number 1, we were given the largest side, so to go from the largest side to one of the legs, you need to divide by the square root of 2, so that I know that we'll say x is going to equal 4 divided by the square root of 2. If we're going to rationalize our denominator, we're going to multiply the top and bottom by the square root of 2. And if I do that, I'm going to get 4 square root of 2 on the top divided by just 2. And now this will simplify. 4 divided by 2 is just 2, so our final answer for x would be it's equal to 2 square root of 2, and then we know that y also has to be equal to 2 square root of 2, since those two legs are the same. Looking at problem number 2, to go from the leg to the hypotenuse, we need to multiply by the square root of 2, but first I know that y already, it has to be 3 square root of 2. Like, that's automatic. And then for x, we know that x is going to equal 3 square root of 2, but then that's going to be times the square root of 2. And so if I ignore the 3 for a moment and just look at the square roots of 2, I have the square root of 2 times the square root of 2. That's going to equal the square root of 4, but the square root of 4 is nice. That's just equal to 2. And so I'm really doing 2 times 3, which is 6. And that is it for problem number 2. The other type of special triangle that we'll look at is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And so to do these, the shortest side, so across from 30 degrees, that side is always x. The middle side, across from the 60 degrees, is going to be x times the square root of 3. And then the hypotenuse is always going to be 2x. So kind of like the main goal is to find the shortest side first, because then finding the other ones is easier because you're just multiplying. But that's not always typically what you start out with. But this is kind of the major thing we're going to be using for the last couple problems here. So looking at number 3, they give us the hypotenuse, which is 16. So I know that this is like 30 degrees here. So to go to the shortest side, we need to cut that in half. So the shortest side is y. So I know that y is going to just equal 8, which means that that's like my x when you're looking and thinking about like this setup here. So I know that that middle side, which is labeled as x here, that's just going to be 8 times the square root of 3. And that's it. No other work necessary for that. Looking at problem number 4. Problem number 4 set up very, very similarly. So if our hypotenuse is 10, I know the shortest side length, which is y is going to equal 5. And then my middle side length, which is x, that's going to just equal 5 square root of 3. And that's it. No need to get any decimals or anything like that, because they said simplest radical form. Looking at number 5. This is like the middle side length, the 12 here. So I want to get to the shortest side, because that makes my life a bit easier, because that's how you can help find everything else. So to get there, to go from the shortest side to the middle side, we'd multiply by the square root of 3. So to go backwards, we need to divide by the square root of 3. So I know that my y is going to equal 12 divided by the square root of 3. And now we need to do rationalizing the denominator, so I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by the square root of 3. And I'll have 12 square root of 3 over 3, and now this 12 over 3, that simplifies to 4, so I know that my y equals 4 square root of 3. And then to go from the shortest side length to the longest, we would multiply by 2. So you can just take this and multiply by 2, and so my x is just going to equal 8 square root of 3. And that's it, you're done. Looking at the last one here, number 6. Again, to go from the hypotenuse to the shortest side, again, this is a 45, 45, 90. So my both m and n are going to equal 7 divided by the square root of 2. And again, that's going back to the previous 45, 45, 90 triangle that we had. I would then multiply top and bottom by the square root of 2. And I'm going to get 7 square root of 2 over 2. And there's nothing you can do to simplify that. So our m and our n are both going to equal 7 square root of 2 over 2. And that's it. So I hope you found this video helpful, and have a great day.